Hi, welcome to Kerry's Cards. Today's video I am recording to show you how to make a gift box bag container for cards. Slightly more sturdy than a normal one that I might have made for you in the past. I'm going to actually be using some beautiful new papers from the latest catalogue called Simply Elegant to decorate my outside of my box and inside of my box. So you can see here the beautiful colours and all the shiny different elements on there in the greys and the blacks and the creams and the whites. There's all sorts of different options there. I've actually decided I'm going to use this one for my outside of my box today, and the reason for that is I'm going to team it up with some Blushing Bride paper and the Blushing Bride ribbon that I've got here, and also some other white cotton that we have that goes with it's currently within the snail mail section in the spring mini catalogue. We say mini, it's not very mini. So for this card, what you need, or for the box, sorry, is at the back of your card, your 12 by 12 card, you often get a piece of thicker card. Sometimes you can get like the insides of envelopes, for example, that divides something just a little bit more sturdy than your normal 12 A4 card, just to give it that rigidity. So I'm going to use the backing of the Simply Elegant card today, and the inside. So what you will need today is a trimmer, some scissors, some wet glue. So I'm going to be using Tombow, and a punch of some format, or a hole punch, a little one like this, for example, to be able to get through to thread the ribbons through. So let's crack on and make the card, or box holder. I keep calling it a card holder. So the first thing we need to do is to trim our harder piece of card to 11 1/4 by 5 inches. So let's go with this. This will take a couple of scores because it's quite thick. And that's one. So that's 5, and then let's trim it at 11 1/4. Now this has been designed specifically because it will enable us to use our lovely designer series paper and just fit it perfectly by going around the edges. So pop that. What we first need to do then as well is actually score it beforehand at 4.5 inches, and then I turn it around 180 degrees and score again at 4.5 inches. So we have the score lines there, and I sort of loosely, very gently bend them round. You won't see these when it comes to the actual box itself, because obviously they can be covered. So pop that up there, and then we'll take our lovely designer series paper, and we need to cut that 6 inches by 12 inches, so it's half a strip, and we'll use the other side, which seems sinful, to decorate the inside of the box, or you can use the same side and have it all. In fact, it's so pretty, I'm actually going to use the same paper on the inside, but I will show you at the end a box where I've flipped it over and done a bag and done a different one. So here we need 10 3/4 by 4 3/4. So 4 3/4 wide by 10 3/4. There we are. I'm going to keep these pieces of DSP because I'm going to use these to make some little cards that will go in at the end. So let's move this to one side, the trimmer to one side, get back your card stock that we've just cut earlier, the hard card. We are going to then use our soft glue, or Tombow glue, wet glue. This one's better to use than any glue that's like double-sided sticky tape, for example, because you've got a little bit of flexibility in moving this around, and you also need plenty on to make sure that it's well and truly stuck to the card and that it doesn't come off after you've put it together, and you'll see why, because you need to leave it to set a little bit before you then fold the cards back up with the paper on. So I know that we want to put it on the middle, centered on this piece of card, this way round as possible. So you pop it down so that you have a reasonable same size hangover on each side. Turn it over and spread it nice and firmly. Then you're going to go round and just pull it up so that it fits on the inside before we put any glue on. Just going to tease it round. Okay, and keep teasing it around both sides, all sides. And then when you're ready, right, these edges here, you try and make them as neat as possible because it gets a big fold of paper. Otherwise, you've got two options of doing it. You can either fold it over and manipulate it so it goes down into like a triangle like that and glue it down, or you can cut it with a little pair of scissors so that it makes a neater edge and cut the bulk out. Or fold it over like you would do a parcel. So I'm actually going to fold it over. So fold it in on itself to make a little V. And do the same on that one up. Fold it in to make a nice neat edge. We're going to use the bone folder as well, just to make sure that all these edges are nice and sharp. And then it'll make it easier to stick it down once we put our glue down. Let's do the same with that edge there. Okay, and then we get our glue. Put plenty of glue down under here now because you don't want this to come off or lift. And it also doesn't matter at this particular point if some of the glue comes out, because your inside piece of decorative paper is going to cover the rest of the cardboard. So just go round and make sure that it squishes it all down. So if you do get any glue coming out like I have there, it's fine, just wipe it onto the centre of the card. It can get a bit messy. You could, if you wanted to, use your double-sided tape here, but again, I prefer the wet glue because it gives it more, it moves a bit more. And then fold it over. Hold it down. Bring it round. Do the bottom as well. Make sure you tuck your edges in. Quite a lot of glue there. Okay, so that's that one level. You might want to just try and get rid of some of the glue that's on your hands because it is a bit messy. You might want a baby wipe round. Then we're going to do the same on the inside. To make sure that the whole of the card area is covered. And you do want to put a very thin layer just on the edge now to make sure that the inside is stuck down as well. So this bit here, try and make it as centered as possible. Oh, let's go up. Okay, press and hold. Particular attention to the corners and make sure there's enough glue to hold them all down. Okay, now the So that's our board covered. You can just see there the score lines underneath. But what we're going to do is going to put it to one side and leave it to dry, because if you start bending it now, it'll peel the paper off because the glue's not quite set. So pop that to one side. And we'll work on the concertina and the cards that go in the middle. So we need, for the concertina, we need to have, on this bit here, 2 lots of 5 inches by 2.5 inches. So I'm going to go to 5 inches. And then 2 lots of 2.5. Then using you can either use your trimmer or a scoreboard. We then need to score every 1/2 inch. And this is going to make the concertina bits where the cards will sit, or the dividers will sit in between, and will hold the box up together. Okay. So make your concertina folding backwards and forwards on itself. We call it valley folds and mountain folds. And also use your bone folder to make it really nice and tight. Do the same on this one. Then you'll see here you've got your 1, 2, 3, 4 compartments, and these 2 edges here are going to stick to the insides of the box, and the same on this side. So you 1, 2, 3, 4 compartments, and those edges will stick to the sides of the box. So what we'll do then is we need some double-sided tape here. I prefer to use it on this one because it's quick and instant. You could use the wet glue, but you'd have to sit and hold it in place. So here you put your glue, your double-sided sticky tape on the 2 outside edges. One. I use 2 just to make sure that they're secure. It's only because I've got thin tape. If your tape is slightly thicker, you wouldn't need to do 2 layers. That's those 2. Let's do the same on this one. Last one. Right, so that's my double-sided tape done. Not quite sure what happened there. Let's cut that off. So the next thing we need to do is add the holes in the top of the concertina so that we're going to thread our string through. So for that, you need to make sure you know you're doing it up the right side on the top, which side you're putting it on. Now I want my concertinas to be, let's cut that off. Concertinas to be, they need to be opposite one another when you put them inside your box. 2, 3, 4. So we're going to put them in this way, which means we need to have them like that. And we're going to put the holes in the top of this one. because it's too thick to go through in one go, I'll do it and then line it up with the other hole. Okay, that's that one. Again, just double check that I've got the right side. Yeah, so the two sides are opposites. So this is the top of the box, top of the concertina for this side. And the last one. It's a bit thick. There we go. That's my holes put in the top there. So now we'll bring our box back. Actually, we won't do that just yet. Leave it, keep drying a little bit longer. We'll put those to one side. What we'll do for now is we'll make the divides that are going to go into the middle. So for this, we need to have four 4.5 inch by 4.5 inch squares. So this will take up 2 pieces of A4 card. Four and a half by 4.5. 1, 2. I'll use the other bit. Four and a half by 4.5. And I need one more, so I need another piece of A4 card, which I don't have. Okay, I'll just pretend that this one is 4.5. It's slightly smaller, that one is. I've run out of the blushing bride card, so we're going to make that one, pretend that that one's the same size. So we'll put all of our papers to one side. We'll put back over the base box. This should now have dried a bit better. It's not as good as I would like at the top there. If you have any glue that you can see and you want to get rid of, if you've got a glue rubber, then that's perfect. This is the time to do it, but once it's still flat. So now you need to gently, using your fingers, rub where the divide, where you did your, where we scored it originally before we put the paper on, and that will help. Use your fingers just to guide it up. As you can see, what it does is it buckles the paper inside. That's okay because you won't actually see that. As long as the outside is nice and tight, we're okay. And then fold that one over. That's one. Go back again. And 2. I don't use my bone folder now because it's just too, it might damage the paper. This card I'm using on this one is actually quite thick. I sometimes prefer using the white card that comes on the back of the packs because it's a little bit more, you've got a little bit more manoeuvrability with it. This one's very, very stiff, but it will give you a lovely solid structure afterwards. So there's our base of our box. Before we start putting all the bits together to hold it together, you need to put in the top holes for your ribbon to go through. So I come down approximately 1/2 inch and mark it up with a little pen at 1 inch and 4 inches. So you might not be able to see those on the camera, and then turn it around and do exactly the same on this side. Come down about 1/2 inch and put a little dot where I want my holes to go, for my ribbon to go through. And then get my hole punch and go through. If you had some nice brads at this point, you could add these brads in here to give it a little bit more dimension and depth. So we've got the holes there ready for the ribbon to go through. So let's now build this up. So we have our concertinas that's going to go inside each one there. Make sure we put our holes on the top, and we start with one side first. Peel off your backing, and then put these in so that your V, and then let's just double check, make sure we've got the right side, because we want 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got to go this side. So you need the outside edge flat. You don't want it that way round, so the V's out that side. You want the edge on the edge. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And if you lift your box up so that it's square, and you make sure then that the base is touching the base. Hopefully you can see that okay on the camera. Then you'll take off the tape for the other side. And you bring that one up, shake it off, bring that one up, and again you putting it in bottom and to the edge. Can you see that? So it's right on the edge of your box. And that will then give you, when you shut your box, your bag, you 1, 2, 3, 4 concertinas. So we'll do exactly the same on this side. Pop that one down. Again, make sure it's nice and snug to the base of the bag and flush with the side of the bag. Bring this one up. And then we had to do exactly the same here. Make sure it's level on the base of the bag and level with the sides there. If for any reason it comes out slightly, you could possibly cut it. Okay, so that's the basis of the box done. We then need to get ourselves some string. A little bit too small. So I know that it needs to be, so then you have two options. You can either put the string in just these holes on the inside, or if you wanted to make it more decorative, you can put holes on the outside where the hole punches are there. So I'm actually going to do that for this one. But as I said, what you could do is just do it so that it's on the inside of your bag. So I get my, where's my, there we go. So I'm just going to pop a hole punch in here. So you're lining up where that hole is there to go through the box. And do the same on this side. And we'll do the same on this side. And up and over. Okay. And I always keep a nice thick big needle with my cotton and string. If you wanted to, you could put the ribbon through this at this point in time. Just thread it as you would as if you were stitching. And I'll just do this into a little bow until it makes it nice and square. It can be a bit tricky, this bit, because it does tend to come a little bit loose. You probably want to tie it just a little tighter than you think you're going to need it. It needs to go a bit tighter. same on the other side. Go through. Bit long, there we go. Do exactly the same she did on the other side. A little bit tighter than you think you're going to need it, because as you loose it, comes the hook. So that is your little gift box, the basis of it done. We'll just get some ribbon now and put those through the holes there. This is again the Blushing Bride ribbon. So I think probably about 12 inches each strip will be fine. Won't go through, use your scissors to poke it through to get it through the other side. And then just tie them in some knots at the end. So that's one. Here's the next one. And I like to make sure that the pattern is all round and not too twisted. I say patterns because it's got the shiny side on one side. If your ribbon's just the same either side, it's not so important. Put that through that side. Tie it in the knot. Make sure that we have the nice sparkly side coming through and round. Twist that. All fingers and thumbs this morning. Yeah. Okay, so they're nice and level. Then we'll get our little divides, and because they're square, it doesn't matter where you which way you pop your tags on. Now I've used to make my tags, I've used one of the new dies from the Colour and Contour set. I think it's called Scalloped Edges. And I've just created these little tabs here. So what I'm going to do is just fold them in half, score them in half on the scorer. Using my... So that I will just do it that way round. Gives a nice little bit of definition really, and then you've got space to write on them if you want to. You could just fold them by eye, but by scoring them this way you're going to get a neater edge when you come to glue them on your cards. Like that. So again, just using my wet glue now, just a little bit across the top here. on both sides. Try and avoid where the holes are, otherwise it's going to come through on the holes, which you don't really want. Just enough there, so that's folded that one in. And repeat. Two. Third one. And then we'll go that way for the fourth one. I'll not do that one because that one's too small. I'll wait till I get some extra card the right size. So I've done 3 here, but you need to do 4. And then you'll just pop them in. And they should just fit within each of your little folds. So there you have a lovely little gift card holder. You can obviously then make some little cards to go inside using the 3x3 cards this size here and envelopes. They would fit beautifully inside each one. And again, don't forget you've got your leftover strips of card that you've used. So these can be really simple little note cards. For example, here you might want to cut off a little edge and just put a little note across the top. But you will then have lots of little cards that you can add in. So there we have one little gift box bag card holder. You could jazz it up again if you wanted to and put a little tag on, a gift tag if you're going to give this as a gift. It's entirely up to you then how you want to finish embellishing it, but that is your measurements and guide to how to make a solid, hard gift card box holder. Thanks for watching. If you've got any questions or any comments, then it'd be great if you could give me some support below in comments or like this post video. And thanks for watching. Many thanks. Bye.